No one likes to be a victim of fraud, and this is especially true when it comes to charity fraud. We give our hard-earned money to an organization that we believe is trying to deal with a problem in our society, and we suddenly find out that that money went to line the pockets of some individual who could care less about that cause. But fortunately, there are law enforcement organizations out there trying to protect us. And today, we're going to talk to some of them as they deal with the specific topic of veterans charity fraud. Well, many people may not know about the important role that the Attorney General's office plays in combating charity fraud. Tell us a bit more about that role.
Under Michigan law, before a charity or a professional fundraiser can raise funds from the public, that charity or professional fundraiser needs to be registered or licensed. Michigan's Charitable Organizations and Solicitations Act also gives the Attorney General enforcement tools to prohibit deceptive solicitations and other charitable solicitation fraud, and the Attorney General can investigate such instances and, if necessary, enforce violations in court. So the Attorney General really is the main charities regulator in the state of Michigan.
Let's talk specifically about veterans charity fraud. I know your office was recently involved in a case involving a charity fraud that happened to be focused on veterans.
Yes, in the last few years, the Michigan Attorney General has brought several enforcement actions against deceptive veterans charities. The one in particular I'm going to tell you about was Healing American Heroes out of Round Rock, Texas.
Will, was this part of a larger enforcement action that was taking place?
Yes. Over the last year or two, the Federal Trade Commission, as well as most state charity regulators, so most attorney general's offices, have been focused on veterans fraud. This is what we're calling the veterans sweep.
In this specific instance, how did the charity reach out to donors to get them to give their money?
Now, Healing American Heroes employed direct mail solicitations. And in fact, they solicited nationwide, so not just in Michigan, but they sent out roughly 5 million mailers per year to people all over the country, telling them that there was an urgent need to send phone cards to deployed service members serving overseas.
And of course, they did none of that.
Well, they did next to none of that. So our investigation revealed that Healing American Heroes raised $2.7 million nationwide. Yet of that $2.7 million in a specific year, Healing American Heroes spent just $5,000 on phone cards and only bought 1,000 phone cards. And in one of the years we investigated, they didn't distribute a single phone card.
So where did the money go?
So here there was a direct mail fundraiser called Jeremy Squire and Associates, and they were a fundraising consultant and advised Healing American Heroes on how to conduct these campaigns. So that was where some of the money went. Here, there were 5 million packages sent to people nationwide. If you do the math just on the postage cost alone, that's a large portion of the money raised is just going to pay for postage and printing costs.
Well, how was a charity, a 501c3 organization, able to get away with that?
Well, a charity is governed by its board of directors. So ideally, there should be an independent board that is monitoring the functions of the executive director and other employees of the organization. What we've found is that there are many charities out there where the board is simply a board in name only, that is largely run by either a founder or an executive director that may really be the only person fully aware of the organization's activities.
Will, how did your office get involved in this case? And throughout the case, who else were you working with to bring this organization to justice?
our office has been giving a heightened attention to veterans charities, specifically ones that have certain red flags, such as high fundraising costs. Often, once we've discovered a problematic charity, we will share information with other state charity regulators because if an organization is raising funds in Michigan, it's often raising funds in other states throughout the country.
What is the result of all of this wonderful effort to bring this group to justice, and where is the charity now?
As a result of the settlement, Healing American Heroes agreed to pay certain penalties to the Department of Attorney General. Additionally, once Healing American Heroes dissolved, it was required to distribute the remaining assets to a charity in accord with the Department of Attorney General's settlement agreement. Most of those funds, over $250,000, went to Fisher House Foundation, which is a highly respected national veterans charity.
Is it often that we see cases where charities are actually forced to dissolve when you come across problems with them like this?
That's the ideal, is that when we bring an action against an organization, that it cease doing what it's doing and it not cause any further harm. More realistically, we're seeking penalties and whatever restitution we can get.
Well, what about the individuals involved, the people who established the charity and who were running it?
Our investigation showed that there was one individual who was prominently featured in the fundraisers and in the mailings, and that was the founder and the executive director. We did impose a personal penalty on the founder, and that individual has paid back $20,000 as a personal penalty. In addition, she has agreed never to serve again as a charitable fiduciary.
So why do people give money to veterans charities?
Veterans' causes certainly resonate with the American people. There are a lot of veterans among the American public. There are a lot of people who want to support the American military. So there's certainly a sympathetic cause for veterans. And we've seen both with veterans charities and with other sympathetic causes that fundraisers and certain charities expertly exploit the emotions of donors.
What should donors do when they feel that they've given to a shady charity?
They should contact their state attorney general's office. The Michigan Attorney General receives complaints online, also by email, or a written complaint can be submitted.
And where should people go to file those complaints?
In Michigan, you can go to our website, mi.gov/charity. And you can also search charities on our website. And you can search charities through websites at other organizations, such as the Better Business Bureau, Charity Navigator, GuideStar.
Well, what do you say to people out there who are contemplating starting an organization to dupe people out of money?
I think that charity regulators across the country are more vigilant to this sort of scheme than they've ever been. So I would encourage those scammers that are out there trying to make a buck that this is not a good time to do it. It's not a good way to do it. And we're out there looking, and we've caught a lot of people, and we might catch you.
I'd like to thank our guests today and all of the charity officials around the country who work hard every day to protect us from charity fraud.